Today we will be talking about how to boost retention with agentic post-purchase journeys. So much of the work that happens post-purchase, and that's where the real relationship and the real loyalty is really built. So this was a session that we actually ran at Connections this year, which was about 2 months ago now, and it was really well received, got really awesome feedback on it, so we wanted to run the session again. I just have someone pop in, so welcome. I was just saying we have a cozy group today, so feel free to come off mute if you'd like, or pop any messages in the chat box throughout. So we have 3 speakers today. I am Zaline. I'm a product marketing lead here at Salesforce, primarily supporting the industries and manufacturing team. And today we also have Courtney and Erin, who I will let introduce themselves.
So my name is Courtney Algeo. I run marketing here at Saltbox Mgmt. I've been in the Salesforce ecosystem for over a decade, so it is always wonderful when I get to partner with Salesforce and a customer on any sort of event or webinar. And then Erin is a customer of ours at Shorr Packaging. Erin?
Yeah, so I lead our marketing team here at Shorr, and that includes ownership of Salesforce, including the roadmap and the user experience.
Great. So today, what we're really here to talk about is 3 different things. One is how order management connects directly to retention and service load. 2 is how what happens after the order drives loyalty more than almost anything else you're doing in marketing. And then 3 is about how to get marketing, sales, and ops all speaking the same language so that you can actually deliver to customers post-purchase. And these aren't things that are theoretical. These are things that actually Erin is living at Shorr, so I'm so excited for her part of this. And then these things are things that we work inside every day here at Saltbox with our clients. Before I really get started, I want to give you guys 3 things to consider during this presentation. It's not going to be a survey or anything like that, and I know that you can come off mute, but no need to do that right now. But I just want you to sit with these 3 questions throughout this presentation. So, how long does your company go silent after an order? So I'm not talking about your shipping carrier, but I'm talking about your company. So when is the last time that your customer hears from you after they hit submit on an order? Second, what percentage of your inbound messages and contacts are people just asking where their order is? In the biz, we call that WISMO, where's my order? And then what does that WISMO actually cost you? And then finally, are marketing, sales, and ops all aligned on what you can promise customers after the sale, or are you all working from different capabilities and different scripts? So think about that while we go through the session, and then I'll return to them at the end. All right, I want to start with some numbers because in marketing, we love numbers, business loves numbers, and they also tell a really good story. So most marketers on this call, in my life, in the room at Connections, everybody knows that we are accountable for pipeline, acquisition, top of funnel. And that of course makes sense, but looking at this first stat, a 5% lift in retention increases profits over the course of a customer between 25 and 95%, and that is an insane number. It almost sounds made up. It would be made up if it wasn't actually from a real source. So, but that's how crazy the stat sounds. What that means is you could run every campaign perfectly and still lose to a competitor who just does a better job of keeping the customers that they already have. The second one, 75% of B2B buyers say that they'll pay more for a great post-sale experience. And that's not a great product. That's not about price. It is just the experience after the sale. And third, 50% of B2B buyers switched vendors last year, not because the product failed, but because the service did. So the question we have to ask ourselves, and as heartbreaking as it is what is the point of filling the top of the funnel if customers are just going to walk out the back door? And so the thesis here is retention is really where all the math works, and most of us in marketing are not treating it like the growth lever that it actually is. So let's go a little bit deeper into this. So let's talk about where that retention is won or lost. 89% of B2B customers say that customer service is the primary reason they stay with a vendor or leave. Again, not price, not product, this is service. We We know this, but up to 35% of everything hitting your support queue is someone asking Wizmo, where is my order? And that question alone costs anywhere between $5 and $25 every time someone has to answer it. So if you multiply that across your contact volume, well, that's a huge number and it's completely avoidable. So at the macro level, about $137 billion is lost annually to that avoidable B2B vendor switching. And so again, avoidable. So think for a minute that that's not actually a fulfillment problem, it's communication and visibility. And communication is what you're telling your customers after they buy. So it's communication is what you're telling customers after they buy, and visibility is whether you can even see what's happening in an order in real time. So you can't communicate what you can't see. And frankly, communication and visibility, both of those are things that marketing owns. So I'm going to hand it over to Erin now because she actually built this. And Erin, I'm not sure if when you introduced yourself, you talked about your two-in-the-box model and the fact that you own the entire Salesforce ecosystem at your company.
I didn't, but I will. All right, perfect. So thank you, Courtney. Let me tell you a little bit about Shorr, and I'll tell you about how we operate here. So we are an employee-owned packaging distributor. We have over 600 employees across 9 locations in the United States. We've been around for over 100 years, and this year we actually are about to reach $1 billion in sales revenue. We provide packaging products and solutions to those in the healthcare, food, e-commerce, industrial, and transportation industries. What makes our setup a little bit unique is that I sit in marketing and my team owns Salesforce from the business side. And we have Commerce Cloud, OMS, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Field Service, and Marketing. And here at Shorr, we operate in a two-in-the-box model with my amazing IT counterpart, Karen, who may be on this call. So my team really owns the user experience and the marketing function, and then her team deploys and manages the technical infrastructure. But Karen and I are in lockstep at all times. And then that ownership model really matters for this conversation because it means marketing truly does have a seat at the table for every post-purchase decision. And that's exactly what Courtney's been talking about so far. All right, so let's look at our journey a little bit. So as we were beginning our digital transformation, we started describing it as going from the Flintstones to Jetsons, and that truly became our North Star. We say it all the time. So we started with Salesforce Commerce Cloud, and we launched Shorr Exchange, which is our B2B commerce portal. And that gave just a subset of customers a way to self-serve. And that was just phase one. It was a big step, but it created a new problem almost immediately. So orders are now coming into Salesforce, but then it stops there. Our support team was then manually re-entering every single one of those orders into our ERP system, which took anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes per order while they were validating the SKUs, the inventory availability, etc. So it was just adding up to hours of unnecessary work per day. So we moved into phase 2, which was order automation. And here's where we partnered with Saltbox to implement OMS. So the goal was very simple for us. We wanted clean orders that met criteria and went straight into our ERP system automatically. And only exceptions that truly need a human actually get one. And even for those, we actually built in tools that you could fix and resubmit without manual entry again. And then where we're headed. So phase 3 is connecting all of that order data back into marketing, sales, and service. Experience Cloud portal, personalization through Marketing Cloud, cross-sell, agentic exception handling, all of that is on the horizon for us. So we truly do feel like that Jetsons part is getting a little bit closer. All right, so here's what that before and after really looked like. So before we had a homegrown order management system, we actually had a few of them, one of which is only email. So when an exception happened, somebody got an email and then they went into the ERP and manually fixed it. There was no systemic handling, there was no visibility, there was no true workflow. And sales reps and customer support were spending time just tracking down order statuses instead of selling. So our service team was truly absorbing a lot of that cost of that invisibility, as Courtney said. So after, on the right, Shorr Exchange gave our customers a modern portal that we continue to invest in. So we actually just completed an upgrade with Saltbox, and that gave our customers a new user experience which included the ability to search by their own product numbers. And we implemented Coveo to do that for us. And now they can see their full product list without having to drill down. It's just a faster, easier, more intuitive experience for them. And then after we launched it, or before we launched it, we didn't just flip the switch. We sent proactive communications both internally and externally. So letting our customers know, here's what's changing, here's what you can expect, here's how it will be better. And that was truly a deliberate choice.
Erin, can we talk about that one for a second?
Sure.
I think that that's something that we often skip. What was the thinking behind communicating proactively to your customers before the launch?
So we really wanted them to be comfortable with the changes that they were going to see when they logged in that Monday morning. We did it over a weekend. So when they logged in, the homepage looked completely different. So we also want them to know that we're listening to them and we continue to invest in the platform and the experience that they are getting with Shorr.
Love it. Love it. No wonder you're going to be $1 billion company. And then on the commercial side, when you say that they were fielding order questions instead of selling, can you put a number on what that was costing you in terms of time?
Yeah, we think it's about 2 hours per rep per day.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
And now in this
85 to 100 reps.
Well, and now in this agentic world, 2 hours, you could get weeks worth of work done in 2 hours. It's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So what's truly changed? So I'm just going to talk about the top 3 things that we're most proud of here at Shorr. So the first is we're getting fewer "where's my stuff" calls. So customers now have self-service access, real-time order visibility. So they stopped calling to ask where their order was. So that 35% of inbound contacts that Courtney previously mentioned, building actual revenue generating work. And then second, our reps got their time back. That 2 hours per day per rep, they're able to return to selling and really do relationship building and actual revenue generating work again. And then third, the most exciting as a marketer, is we started using the data from Commerce Cloud and reaching out to our customers. So we extended the relationship beyond just the sale, which helped us to build trust, reinforce value, drive retention and expansion within our current accounts. So we built dynamic journeys based on industry, product interest, and all of our value-added solutions.
So let's pause on that third one because we've got that 89% stat back on the screen. Because we opened with that. And so that's exactly what it's illustrating, is that the reason that customers stay or leave isn't one big catastrophic dramatic failure. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts, right? So did they feel supported? Did someone reach out before they had to ask? And those proactive communications, it's a choice that Shorr made. And it's a choice that every marketing team can and should make too, regardless of where you are in your Salesforce journey or your digital transformation journey. So Erin, one more question for you. For anyone in this room who is earlier in their journey than Shorr is, what's the thing that you would tell them to do first?
Challenge today's processes. So think about what's possible and what success would look like for your organization. Then just start. You have to start somewhere. Just start chipping away. And really no journey is the same, but they are always evolving.
Yeah, that maturity model, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
I want to kind of take it in that direction of this maturity model and say something that might be controversial to the Salesforce people in this room. But agentic doesn't mean robots. It just means proactive. I know that the word agentic is in this session title, and I hope everybody didn't come in thinking that this is going to be about building AI agents. If so, I so appreciate that you felt we could do that in 20 minutes. We're smart, but we're not that smart. The agentic post-purchase journey really just means that the system acts on order events so that your team doesn't have to. So is there an exception that's detected? A customer gets a notification before they pick up the phone. An order ships, a cross-sell journey triggers, a reorder window opens, proactive outreach goes out, and that's it. And so it's basically going from manual to automation to AI doing this. And that's the That's the maturity model. You don't have to have a fully built AI strategy to start, to just get started. All you need is visibility into what's happening post-order and then a plan to act on it. So the goal isn't the technology. The goal is simple. Does your customer feel supported after the sale? And if so, you did your job. And that's the job we've always been doing in marketing, right? Agents are just a more scalable way to do what good marketing has always done. Shorr is building toward this, and some of you are already there, and some of you might still be figuring out phase one, and that's fine. Just like Erin said, just start where you are. All right, just the pinnacle of the thesis. I want to tell you the hill I'm going to die on. Marketing is not just top of funnel. We've been conditioned to think that marketing is a team, we're the ones that get people in the door, awareness, acquisition, pipeline, and that's true. But once the sale closes, it's not someone else's job. I mean, look at what Erin's team actually owns, all of Salesforce. That's the entire customer relationship. And the results that they're getting aren't just coming from campaigns, they're coming from what happens after the order. Post-purchase experience is your brand. Order management directly drives retention. Loyalty is built in fulfillment, not the funnel. And in B2B especially, your customer isn't making an impulse buy. They're running a business. They need their orders to show up. They need to be right. They need to be trackable. And when that works seamlessly, your customers don't even think about switching. And when it doesn't, that's when your competitor will get a call. So marketing's job isn't done at the sale. It's just getting started. All right, bringing it back to the beginning. Here's what I want you to do when you get off of this call. It's not a framework, it's not a tool to buy, just questions, right? One, how long does your company go silent after an order? Again, it's not your mail carrier, it's you. If your customer's last touch point was a shipping confirmation and then there's nothing, that silence is generating service calls and you need to add it to your list to work on. Second, what percentage of your inbound contacts are order status questions? And what is it costing you? If you don't know that number, then finding that out is actually your first action. So ignore what I said just a second ago. And this one's the first one because you can't fix what you can't see. And three, are your teams aligned? I'm not saying that you have to have the two in the box that Erin has, but are marketing, sales, and ops all aligned on what you can actually promise post-purchase? And if there's a gap between those two things, that's where customers leak. So basically, customers who feel supported after the sale, they're the ones who reorder, and that's the whole game. Question. That's a great question. Erin, question. How did you phase the OMS implementation effort, and where did you start? And any lessons you learned on rollout?
Yeah, so we started with a subset of customers. So it was actually 42 of our customers. They had the simplest order rules. So no drop shipping, nothing crazy, no switching warehouses, anything like that. So they were truly, we looked at, I think, the previous 12 months of data to see, okay, which customers of ours have the most simple ordering process. So we took that group of customers, and we onboarded them first. I would say my biggest lesson learned is we did that, and then it was like, okay, what's next? So do we look at order rules next, or do we look at certain customers next? Do we try to onboard the biggest customers onto OMS? So really having that plan in advance would have helped. We were like, cool, we got 42, and then like, okay, now what? Like, which one of those do we tackle next was really the biggest question for us.
Any follow-up questions, Spence? Oh, okay.
You're welcome.
All right, so that's really our time. Again, it's just short and sweet. We hope that you learned a little something. If you have any questions or any follow-up, you can reach out to any one of us. I'm sure that Erin would love to talk more about her experience. And Zelene, being on the manufacturing team at Salesforce, probably has a lot of great insights as well. Great. Well, that's our
thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.